Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the second annual Evening of Courage. My name is Leah Coriel, and I'm thrilled to be your host tonight. This evening is a very special night. We're here to support Angel City Sports, an organization that's very close to my heart. The mission that drives Angel City Sports is to improve the social, emotional, and physical well-being of children, adults, and veterans with physical disabilities. They provide year-round access to adaptive sports training, equipment, and competitive opportunities. We believe that sport has the power to transform lives by developing self acceptance, self confidence, community, and most importantly, a sense of belonging. I believe adaptive sports, or I discovered adaptive sports actually when I became wheelchair dependent as an adult at the age of 48. I was unaware of the number of adaptive sports available, despite age or ability level, when I became wheelchair dependent from progressive MS. I have met and trained with some of the most amazing adaptive athletes through organizations like Angel City Sports. I've been lucky to represent Team USA in two Paralympic Games, the first in Rio in 2016 and the recent 2020 Games in Tokyo. I'm ready to share my journey with you tonight. My childhood was filled with desperation, poverty, abuse, and foster care. I didn't play sports as a kid because I was a leftover and left out kind of kid. Left over from another father, from another family, from another school, from another classroom. I was the last kid standing to get picked by a team captain. Often the playground athletes would rather play a game short one player than to pick me. By the time I was 14, I was working 30 hours a week, paying rent and buying groceries and school trips for my younger siblings. I knew that if I wanted a different life, I needed to enlist. So I enlisted in the Army my senior year. On the day of my graduation, nobody showed up. I knew then that I made the right decision and left for basic training the next day. Unfortunately, my military career kind of echoed my childhood. I broke my knee and leg the day before graduation from basic training. Everyone in my company moved to their schools while I spent months in the hospital. And once again, I was left over and left behind. It became clear that something medically was seriously wrong. Even in AIT, I couldn't walk straight and I had nerve damage and pain in my feet. I became a medically retired private at the age of 20 with a diagnosis of relapse remitting multiple sclerosis. I was sent home, and I've never felt so defeated in my entire young life. So I went back to my hometown in Wisconsin and used my GI Bill to go to college. I graduated with a degree in recreation and health and married my college sweetheart. We had two children, and I worked part time. The multiple sclerosis would flare and I would lose function and get really sick, but I always managed to recover and pull myself back up until I couldn't anymore. It was obvious that I had MS because of my mobility problems, and that caused problems in my marriage. My husband and I eventually divorced, and I raised my son and daughter by myself. When the kids were older, I went back to school for my teaching degree when I was 45 years old. I enrolled in graduate school and became a graduate assistant and an advisor for student veterans on campus. I watched them struggle with transitioning and identity and belonging. I researched and did presentations and wrote articles about the struggles of these kids. I became their champion, their protector, and their leader. In 2013, my disease became more and more progressive and I became wheelchair dependent. My treatment team put me in palliative care and told me that there was nothing else they could do. The disease was now progressive and incurable, that I would never get better, and tomorrow would never be better than today. My world fell apart. I had worked so hard to become someone who mattered to someone else, someone who was needed, but what really happened is that I got left behind again. I now understood the struggles of my student veterans. They felt broken and left behind. I was ready to just throw in the towel and end my life when some of my student veterans dragged me clear across the country to an adaptive sports camp. It was there that my life changed. It was there that I tried archery for the first time. Later, I was invited to an adaptive archery camp and entered the pipeline to the high performance competition side. It wasn't because I was talented or that I was especially athletic. It was because I was so impaired and they had a slot to fill. I almost walked away, rolled away. But the coach told me something that has changed my world. She told me that this was an opportunity to change people's lives by example, that I would have a platform to empower people to challenge expectations put on them by other people. So I began my archery career in 2015 as America's first ever W1 classified female archer. In the first year, I made the national, world championship, and Paralympic teams at the age of 50. As my confidence grew, I began to accept leadership responsibilities within the archery community. I accepted a position on the USA Archery Board of Directors as an athlete rep, followed by my fellow archers electing me to be their athlete rep at the USOPC. I have earned a spot on the USA high performance teams for 6 years. I've competed in 4 world championship teams. I've represented this great country on 2 Paralympic teams and have been world ranked in the top 10 for 6 years. And this is the same kid that was left behind on the school playground. I do a lot of speaking with people in organization around the country, and my message to all people, not just adaptive athletes, is that we are not what happened to us. Our identity does not have to be our medical diagnosis. We get to decide who we are and what we want to accomplish. The bottom line here is that identity matters. I vividly remember the day that adaptive sports camp that I was referred to as an athlete. For the first time in my life, I was an athlete. I was no longer broken or left behind. That identity shift has saved my life and many others. My story is only one of many, and you will be hearing many of these stories tonight. It has been an honor and a privilege to be here and tell my story and to celebrate so many others who have also fought through adversity time and time again. But I would like to take a moment now to remember Angela Matson, a fellow veteran and Paralympian who passed away last year while pursuing her dream to row solo, unassisted, from California to Hawaii. She was an incredible friend, coach, mentor to Angel City Sports and was the inspiration for this special evening. We will commemorate Angela's incredible impact later in the evening, but I would especially like to welcome Deborah Matson, Angela's wife. Thank you for being here tonight, Deborah. I'd also like to thank all of the youth athletes who were coached by Angela and who have also joined us here tonight. Let's give these kids a round of applause for our future champions that are here tonight. We have a full schedule this evening, and I'm so excited to get it started. We are so grateful that you're all here tonight, and our community needs your support more now than ever. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to the CEO and founder of this phenomenal organization, Clayton Fretch.
Thank you, Leah. I really love your story. Hello, everyone. My name's Clayton Freck, and I am so excited to see all of you in this Zoom room tonight. I know we're all tired of Zoom, but we have an action-packed night for you, and I promise you won't be bored. But before I get going, I'd love to say a few thank yous. First of all, our veterans with us tonight, Leah, Dave, Melissa, Scotty, and anyone else in the room who served. Thank you all for your service to our country and your support of Angel City. And to our esteemed Paralympians in the room, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for sharing your stories tonight and making everything so special. Our volunteers and staff, we couldn't do this without you, especially Camille, our event producer, and Mac, who did all the marketing for tonight's event. And of course, our sponsors, Fox Sports, the Foundation for Global Sports Development, and our partners at Gold Meets Golden and their 2021 partners, many of whom are here tonight, including Deloitte, Herradura, Therabody, Apple, Slip, and That Neck Pillow. So there are 4 reasons why I think tonight is a special night. First of all, it's Veterans Day. My grandfather, my father, and my stepfather all served in the military. And funny fact, almost exactly 50 years ago, I was actually born at the Walter Reed Hospital. And there's no better way to celebrate today than to honor a veteran like Melissa Stockwell. Secondly, it's a Paralympic year. Yes, the games were supposed to happen last year, but they happened this year with no fans in the stands. This year's games will probably go down as one of the strangest games in history, but they happened, so let's celebrate that. Third, we get to carry Angela's spirit forward. She was like an older sister to me, a mentor, a kind, loving woman. In fact, she always said yes to any and every request for help. She was, and still is, an important part of the soul of Angel City Sports. And coincidentally, earlier this week, her boat showed up in the Marshall Islands. It was abandoned halfway between LA and Hawaii in the summer of 2020 and drifted 3,000 miles. The fourth reason tonight is special is that we are raising money to fund our 2022 plan. But before I share that plan with you, let me spend a little time on the who, what, where, and why of Angel City Sports. So we serve 15% of the US population. Yes, you heard this right. That has a physical disability. 15%. That's 50 million people. It's an incredible number. This includes amputees, spinal cord injuries, spina bifida, cerebral palsy, stroke, traumatic brain injuries, the blind and visually impaired, and many, many other disabilities. And listen, some are born different, but most acquire their disability through injury or illness. Think about cancer or car accidents. And listen, what we do, as Leah mentioned earlier, we do sports. It sounds so simple, right? Well, sports in our world aren't really that simple. They aren't very accessible. They're expensive. They're hard to find. So what do we do at Angel City? We put our heads down and we figure it out. We learn, we pivot, and we grow. And we make sports happen. Where do we do it? Mostly in Southern California right now. But I will tell you, our athletes come from all over the country and even the world for our Angel City Games presented by the Hartford. Why? Why do we do this? We do this work because we genuinely want to help our athletes live the most inspired, optimized, and successful lives possible. And we don't care where you're from. We don't care where you started or what your disability is. We got you. And we know what we do works. We know sport has the power to change lives. Leah's story is a perfect example. We see it every day at our clinics. And listen, as we approach 2020, I honestly have never felt the kind of energy and momentum that we have right now. With our new facility we're building near downtown, we'll be able to host regular programming. We'll have an accessible gym. We'll have an equipment repair and rental center. And next year, we plan to host over 100 sport clinics. We're creating teams. Right now, we have the only women's wheelchair basketball team in the state of California and the only wheelchair football team. And listen, we're also going to create new competitive opportunities that the community has never even seen before. And lastly, we will continue to lean into storytelling with our podcast, Sports Saved My Life, and documentary work. Storytelling is a really important part of our future success. Thus, every single dollar we raise tonight allows us to attack our 2022 goals with confidence and with vigor. And in light of that, I am humbled and grateful that you're all here tonight. I know everyone is busy. I know everyone has important things going on. It really means the world to us, to me, that you're here with me. Thank you all. So, next up, I have the distinct honor and pleasure to introduce Scotty Hasting. He's a Marine Corps veteran, an elite para archer, and he recently moved to Nashville to pursue his dream of becoming a country music star. And as you'll hear in a moment, I think he's well on his way to fulfilling his dream. Take it away, Scotty.
Thanks so much for the warm introduction. It's great to be here tonight with you at Angel City Sports, and it's an honor to be able to have served my country. Whether it be on the battlefield in Afghanistan or on the playing field shooting archery with the U.S. Paralympic program, and now on stage out here in Nashville, Tennessee. Tonight I am going to be playing a song that I wrote with a good friend of mine, Doug Johnson. It's called The Stories That They Tell. And the reason why I wanted to write this song was I wanted for people to see a side of veterans that a lot of people don't see. I wanted people to understand why we tell the stories that we do. Because for me, as a veteran, and for many others across the country, we tell the stories so that for that little bit of time, the people that we've lost come back to life, and they're in our minds and in our hearts again. And to me, that's the story that I want to tell about veterans, is that this is something that we feel like we have to talk about in order to keep the memories alive. So without further ado, this is my song. A Friday night down at the Legion Bar, Bill opened up a box of old cigars. Said on this day back in '69, I lost a best friend of mine. Connor said that's a place I've been, but it was 2010 Afghanistan. He raised his glass, said here's to friends and their ultimate sacrifice. Yeah, the times and places, they may change, but one thing stays the same. The stories that they tell about going through hell. If you think they wouldn't do it all over again, well, you just don't know them. Memories that they own of the ones who didn't make it home. Yeah, they sure do miss them, but they keep them all living in the stories that they tell. Bartender says next round's on me. I spent some time overseas. Tonight's my first night behind this bar. Bill handed him a cigar. Well, the faces and the pictures, they may change, but one thing stays the same. The stories that they tell about going through hell. If you think they wouldn't do it all over again, well, you just don't know them. The memories that they own of the ones who didn't make it home. Yeah, they sure do miss them, but they keep them all living in the stories that they tell. Yeah, some will laugh and some will cry. Sometimes they wonder why. I've been there, so I wrote this song. I know the need to carry on. The stories that they tell about going through hell. If you think they wouldn't do it all over again, well, you just don't know them. The memories that they own of the ones who didn't make it home. Yeah, sure do miss them, but they keep them all living. The stories that they tell. Yeah, we sure do miss them, but we keep them all living in the stories that we tell. All right, so that's the stories that they tell. A song that I wrote with a good friend of mine, Doug Johnson. Please go check it out. It's available right now on all music platforms. And please enjoy the rest of your evening of courage.
Dude, Scotty, that was amazing. What a beautiful performance on this Veterans Day. Wow. The growth and impact of Angel City has shown in it's only been around for 7 years, is absolutely tremendous in the adaptive sports world. I honestly cannot imagine what the adaptive sports landscape would look like if it wasn't for this organization. I can't wait to see our youth athletes and current Paralympians compete together in the 2028 Paralympic Games in Los Angeles. For the next 25 minutes, we're going to transition into breakout rooms where you'll have an opportunity to hear from other Paralympians that have just come back from competing in Tokyo. Given that we're on Zoom, you will be randomly assigned a breakout room, but we promise that you will thoroughly enjoy hearing from these Paralympians in your breakout session. But before we separate, I'd like to recognize all the elite athletes that we have joining us this evening. Diana Matthewson, Haven Shepard, Chuck, Ikooki, sorry, Jamal Hill, Trey Jennifer, Joe Delagrave, Ezra Freck, Caitlin, I'm going to murder this, for Earth, I'm sorry, Alana Mason, Callahan Young, Nick Rogers, Justin Bosa Hong, Laura Goodkind, and Lex Gillette. Thank you for joining us and for sharing your stories tonight. Okay, we will separate into the breakout rooms. Enjoy. Hey, welcome back, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed your conversations and learned all about some amazing athletes that have overcome huge obstacles to be where we are today. Well, you just heard from the stars of today. Now let's hear from our adorable future champions.
What was your moment of courage this year?
I think my moment of courage was just getting back out there on the court at Nationals. I was pretty nervous because I hadn't traveled in a while and I hadn't played on an indoor court in over a year. I think we did pretty good.
Really? How'd you guys do?
Well, we won it all.
Courage this year was during spring and track. My coach didn't put me to play, but I put myself on the field and I still finished the finish line during track.
My moment of courage was running a 60-meter race.
I used to not be able to pick up the ball in any chair, but now I can.
My son, Roman, who is a full-time wheelchair user, has, at his age, played at least 3 times as many different sports as I had at his age. And not only would that not have been possible without Angel City Sports, it wouldn't have even been thinkable.
How has Angel City Sports helped you?
Angel City Sports has helped me be a part of the adaptive community. I love going to the camps, meeting new people, and making a bunch of new friends. Overall, I'd say Angel City Sports is one big family.
Angel City Sports has helped me learn setting volleyball from Paralympians.
3 years ago was my first time coming, so the coaches that have helped me don't make me as shy anymore, and I have fun participating in Angel City Sports.
Our son Micah has been involved with the Angel City Games and clinics for about 4 to 5 years. And for us, it provided a place for a community where we could be with other families who also had kids with physical disabilities.
Why do you like playing sports?
I love playing sports because I get to compete against people just like me. And I get to really push myself to be the best baller I can be. Plus, I really love my teammates.
I like playing sports because it's fun and it gives everybody a chance to play and participate. And Angel City Sports has helped me with that.
So I like playing sports because it keeps me motivated and I push myself more to do more sports.
The competition and just playing with teammates.
he's at this event where there's hundreds of people there, and there's a number of kids that are just like him, and they're not just like him because everyone's unique, but they participate in sports the same way he does. And we met now one of his best friends. They call each other their best friends, Micah, and they've been at almost every sporting event we've been at. And what was funny was the second time they got together, all they did was bash chairs together. They just bashed wheelchairs. And
there's so much to it related to them having the opportunity to play with other kids who are like them at their level.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
I haven't really put much thought into it, but if I had to pick, I would become a multi-time Paralympian, win some gold medals, play college wheelchair basketball, play overseas, and go down in history as the greatest wheelchair basketball player of all time.
Wow, those are some pretty big goals. With your support, you can help her pursue those dreams as well as other athletes just like her with the help of Angel City Sports.
Oh yeah, let's make their dreams come true. We have the ability to do that tonight. I'm ready to roll into the fundraising appeal, so let's get started. Let's support this incredible organization and help them reach their fundraising goal of $250,000. We will be able to watch the thermometer rising as the donations roll in. How do you donate? First, to donate, you can click on the link in the chat or text ACS COURAGE to 41444. That's on the top of your screen as well. ACS Courage to 41444. Or message in our chat the amount of your pledge and we'll follow up with you after the event. For your pledge, you can write a check or make a stock donation. Angel City Sports has big plans for 2022, and your support tonight will make those goals come to life. For tonight, our goal is to exceed the $250,000 goal and to have 100% participation from everyone attending. We can do this. I hope we can inspire all of you. Angel City Sports knows what works, and they know what they do works. The adaptive sports opportunities has a huge impact on lives. We see it every day. But this is really hard work, finding, engaging, and inspiring athletes to come out and participate. It's time-consuming, challenging, and it requires equipment, huge numbers of volunteers, and resources. We need your help. The first level is a $10,000 pledge. We are focusing on our goal, and I have big news to share with you. If you're still looking for a reason to do this, this is it. Coming in early 2022, Angel City Sports will have its own facility. This is an absolute game changer for the organizations, for the adaptive sports landscape, and everyone in Southern California living with a physical disability. This facility, with 3 to 4 different courts and an accessible gym, will be a place where our athletes can go at any time and play over 20 adaptive sports with people who look like them, and that matters. It will become a home base for our athletes and our community to learn about, participate in adaptive sports, resources, equipment rental, equipment repair, and more. The Vernon facility, anyone who makes a 3-year, $10,000 pledge will have their name on the donor wall at the facility. We are always looking for individuals to join our Angel Advisory Council, which has a $10,000 minimum to fundraise each year. Shouldn't that be you? You can do that. Often, adaptive athletes in a world outside of adaptive sports programming, we are looked as a problem to be solved instead of an athlete to be included, and that matters. Young athletes need to see athletes that look like them. I'm an archer, so I was at an archery shop putting away my bow, and a little guy in a wheelchair kind of wheeled by and whipped a Yui and came back, and he said, "Is that your bow? Is that a wheel bow?" I said, "Yes, that's my bow." "Are those wheel arrows?" I said, "Yes, they're real arrows." "Not like on the Wii?" I said, "No, honey, it's a real bow and real arrows." And so I gave him my little iPad, to show him my practice, and he said, I never know nobody who could shoot a wheel bow and arrows that sits in a wheelchair that looks like mine. That's what I'm talking about. That's exactly it. This facility is to help children like Hunter see people that look like them that succeed in this world. There is nothing they can't do because he is not his wheelchair. He is an adaptive athlete. Whatever his archery, whatever sport he wants, that's critically important to have a home base where people look like you and they understand your fears, your excitement, what you need to be supported. It needs to happen. And you have the ability to make that happen right here in Southern California. I would like to thank Myra. I'm only going to read a few because I don't read very fast. Mark Shockley, Melissa Gray, Shiden Jahari, Barry Sanders, Jason Silvera, and Candace Cable. Our second level is a $5,000 donation. Let's talk about equipment. This is something I have not seen anywhere else in the USA, and I live in northern Wisconsin, and I travel a lot. I've never seen this. But Angel City Sports has an inventory of adaptive equipment for individuals, for adaptive athletes of all ages and abilities to try and loan out. It is such a smart and critically important thing because without the right equipment, we can't play. But these pieces are expensive and they're not covered by insurance. Insurance is not going to buy a little guy that wants to play wheelchair basketball a wheelchair basketball chair, and they're not cheap. And it costs $3,000 for a sport chair. We're talking wheelchair basketball, we're talking wheelchair tennis or handball. They are not cheap and they are not covered by insurance. But Angel City Games reduces that barrier to participating by loaning out equipment so that athletes can play the sports that they want to play and improve their skills and play consistently. But kids grow fast, and we need to replenish the equipment inventory as the loaner chairs wear out. Your donation can make sure that that child that wants to learn to play wheelchair basketball has a chair that will safely and comfortably fit them so they can try out wheelchair basketball. Even if they don't want to continue with it, they have the opportunity to try it. I want to tell you about an equipment story. So over COVID, when we were all in isolation, I had a gentleman who is also another vet from Florida get a hold of me on social media. He wanted to learn to shoot archery with his two sons who were doing it in the backyard. I happened to have extra bows that I sent him, and I taught him how to tie a mouth tab, because when you only have one arm, that's one of the options is to use a mouth tab, to pull back your bow. So over FaceTime, I taught this gentleman how to tie a mouth tab onto the D-loop of his bow so he could shoot archery. And he took that and ran with it. And he actually started participating. He loved it, participating in archery events all over the United States. And he had quite an Instagram following. And a little girl from West Virginia saw him on Instagram, and her name is Honey. And Honey only has one arm too. And so she told her mom, can you get a hold of that guy so that I ask him how he did that? Like, how is he chewing on it? What is he doing? So her mom got a hold of Lopez, and he got a hold of me and said, can you help me figure out how to get some equipment to this little girl, Honey? This is what I'm talking about, playing it forward. So we got Honey a starter bow that she also we put a mouth tab on her, and she started shooting. A year later, she came to one of my archery camps and said that she had outgrown her bow. But her mom had posted things on Facebook, and there was another little boy from Texas who couldn't afford a bow like Honey couldn't in the beginning either. So Honey's bow went to the little boy in Texas, and I gave Honey a new bow. That's what I'm talking about. Kids outgrow these equipment, and to have to keep purchasing them and the equipment that goes with it. And even if it's something that they're not going to stick with, that costs money and it's prohibitive. Well, if you're not going to stick with it, then they don't want to pay for it, or parents, are hesitant to pay for it. That whole thing, that whole hesitancy is taken away because Angel City Sports loans the equipment, and that's absolute genius. Okay, I have some more sponsors to share with you. The goal, we're almost halfway there, people. Almost. We can do this. Ariel Cohen, Glenn Kagan, Phil Tamausch, Amanda Schreier, Aaron Gilchrist, Jill Olafson, David Young, Susan Robbins, and Stephen Snow. Thank you for your donations. The third level of donors is $1,000 plus. I want to talk about the Angel City Games presented by the Hartford. This flagship event is for Angel City Sports. This is their flagship event. There's nothing like it in the entire country, and I can attest to that. This is a multi-day event where people from all over the U.S. travel to Southern California for elite coaching, competition, and special events. This is where kids get to see people that look like them, other kids, adults, and it's a way for adults that have found, yes? Okay, I gotta get done next. Okay. Families' lives are changed, and new athletes get a whole outlook on their life. Paralympians and first-timers alike. It's a transformational weekend. When Angel City Games host the 2022 Games next summer, their goal is to provide support for 100 athletes and their family to attend the Games. Let's make this happen. The fourth level is under $1,000. Angel City is building a sports program where athletes can get consistent and ongoing training. And Angel City currently has the only women's basketball team and wheelchair football team in California. Okay. Let's help. Okay. Thank you to all of you and all you have done to support Angel City Sports. I'm so proud to be a part of this special night. Now I'll pass it back to Clayton. It's all yours, buddy.
I think I'm live. I am live. Oh my gosh, that was crazy. My computer just crashed during the appeals, so I had it on my phone. But thank you, Leah, for leading us down this journey. I know the thermometer will keep rising, hopefully through the night. And thank you to everyone who donated before tonight or who made a pledge. We'll follow up with you later. Really grateful for everything. So I want to transition us to a quick video from a new partner of ours that's become really important, and that is Fox Sports. They felt in alignment with our values and our mission to transform lives through sport, and they've been supporting us financially, and they also filmed this amazing video about Melissa Stockwell and the Courage Award. So we're just incredibly grateful for their support. Check out this beautiful video by our friends at Fox Sports Supports. I've known Melissa for quite some time and kind of watched her career in awe. And so I feel like she embodies the spirit of Angela Madson, who was a coach and mentor and partner of Angel City Sports. And we want to do something that carries her legacy, that we never forget her. And so last summer we came up with the Angela Madson Courage Award, and Melissa Stockwell is the perfect first recipient. They're both veterans, both injured during their time in service, both Paralympians, and both leaders in the community, starting organizations that are giving back to the broader community. Like Fox Sports Supports coming in as a powerful partner for us this year. So it's amazing to honor Melissa with this award.
Athletics was a part of my life pretty much as long as I can remember. I was always kind of climbing on stuff, so I was in gymnastics by the age of 5 or 6. As I grew older, I saw military personnel, uniform on, flag patch on their shoulder. I kind of thought, that's what I want to do. I want to wear that uniform. Senior year of college, September 11th, came up on the calendar. And it was that day that our ROTC instructor kind of looked at all of us and he said, today your lives will change. It's not a matter of if you'll deploy to a foreign country. It's more a matter of when. In early 2004, our entire 1st Cavalry Division out of Fort Hood was deployed over to Iraq. My heart started to beat a little bit faster, knowing that the possibility of how dangerous it could be, but you never think something like that's gonna happen to you. It's always like somebody else. April 13th, 2004, woke up like I did every other morning in Iraq and got into our vehicle like I always did. About 10 minutes into the ride, our vehicle goes under this bridge and there's just this deafening boom. And there's black smoke, the smell of metal, the windshield's crashed in, our vehicle is swerving all over the place. So we knew that a roadside bomb had struck our vehicle. I looked down, there was a lot of blood. I had no idea the extent of my injury. I know now that my leg was gone. That day definitely changed the trajectory of my own life. Being retired from the military, I was trying to figure out what was next, and here it was. I was going to be a Paralympian. Baghdad to Beijing. I did not do well. I wasn't on the podium, but representing our country, incredible. Come back from Beijing, I got called and said, hey, would you like to do a triathlon? And I remember being like, triathlon? Like, swim, bike, and run. That seems like that's kind of crazy. Like, who wants to do that? I'm like, you know what? Rio 2016, I want to be there. Of all days that my race could have taken place, it was September 11th of 2016. Like, that was my day. And it was almost like it was meant to be. Getting a bronze medal felt like a personal gold because my teammates who had got gold and silver were at the finish line with that American flag. Talk about a moment that will forever go down as one of the greatest moments of my life.
Being proud of Melissa is something very easy to do because she does so much. And the biggest thing is how she stays positive with everything that she's doing. The athletics, being a mom, here in the business. It's just amazing to watch her do it.
I hope to be remembered how Angela's being remembered, as someone who didn't give up, as someone who was a great mother, someone that didn't let a disability define her. It's so important, especially for these young girls and boys, to know that it's okay to struggle, but know that you have a team of people, your family's your team, your friends your team, and they can help you kind of rise up and get through those hard times.
Oh, how incredible is that video? I am so impressed by the whole team at Fox Sports. And I just want to take a moment to acknowledge some connectivity here. So one of the last times that I saw Angela was actually at Gold Meets Golden, an event that brings, Golden Globe nominees and winners and combines them with gold medalists, Olympians and Paralympians. And Angel City is just so honored to be a partner of Gold Meets Golden, Charlie and Scott and the whole team. And if you didn't notice in the chat, they just made a pledge of $75,000 this year. So just Charlie and the whole team at Gold Meets Golden, thank you all. I'm so, so honored. And I know Angela loved your event. So next up to introduce Melissa is my friend Colonel Dave Rozelle. I met Dave back in 2005, and I think it was the same year I actually met Melissa. And Dave just retired recently after over 27 years of service to our country. He was an Army captain commanding 140 troops in Iraq, and an anti-tank mine exploded right under his Humvee. And he lost his leg. And a couple years later, he returns to duty in Iraq as a commander. He knows Melissa personally, and he takes a little credit for suggesting that she get into triathlon while she was still in rehab at Walter Reed. Take it away, Dave.
Happy Veterans Day from South Carolina. I'm retired U.S. Army Colonel David Rozelle, and it's an honor for me to introduce the Courage Award presentation to Paralympian and veteran Melissa Stockwell. As a young cavalry trooper in the United States Army, I had the privilege to deploy a cavalry troop to Iraq during the invasion, but was injured by a landmine and became a below-knee amputee in June of 2003. Not letting that injury stop me, I was back in command in less than a year, and in 18 months, I was back on the same battlefield. And with that, made history in that I was the first amputee to return to the same battlefield and command since the Civil War. But I went on to continue to serve as a cavalryman for 26 more years and retired recently as a colonel, where I now work for the South Carolina Department of Veterans Affairs. During my injury, I used triathlon as my physical therapy and encouraged other severely injured to get involved, as it made sense with swim, bike, and run. And I assisted Challenge Athletes Foundation to create Operation Rebound, and we put together teams of amputees to participate in triathlon. To launch Operation Rebound, I participated in a number of triathlons, to include qualifying for Ironman at Coeur d'Alene and going on to win my division in Kona. I was working in DC at the time, and Melissa got injured, and I was one of the first to visit her when she arrived at Walter Reed. As a fellow Army officer, Melissa and I hit it off rather quickly. And lucky for me, I was with her the first time she tried skiing as an amputee, and she was on my Operation Rebound team the first time she did a triathlon. But boy, that was just the beginning. In 2008, she participated in Summer Paralympics, where she did 3 swimming events. And she returned to race in 2016 Paralympic Games and won a bronze medal in the inaugural triathlon event. And I can tell you, man, it was a thrill this summer to watch her in Tokyo as she competed for a second time as a Paralympian in triathlon. She is my hero. And tonight she's being honored with the second ever Angela Madson Courage Award. Thank you very much. God bless America.
I'm so honored to receive this award because of the incredible life that Angela lived. And she lived a life that was courageous. It was brave. She didn't let obstacles stop her. She persevered through them, ended up better on the other side. Similar to myself, she was a veteran, a Paralympian, a medalist. She wanted to give back to the next generation, and she started a rowing club for athletes with physical disabilities, and trying to, follow in those footsteps of my own and start an organization called Dare to Try for athletes with physical disabilities, and just wanting to give back. So when I think of Angela's life and my own life, there are a lot of parallels. But the courage that she has had in her life to do the things that she did, she has values that she lived her life by, and it's values that I would hope that my kids would live their life by. And the legacy that she left, of thinking about her and her life and everything that she did and the way that she gave back, and being honored with her Courage Award. And it says to honor bravery and perseverance in the face of adversity. And those are obviously things that you never think that you're going to be awarded for. But I think about her, and I'm so proud to receive this. So thank you, Angel City Sports, for thinking of me for this award, for the honor of it. It's something I don't take lightly. I truly am incredibly proud of it. And thank you for all you continue to do for athletes like myself, and just getting out there and showing the world what we can do. Thank you.
I love the way Angel City Sports is honoring Angela's legacy. And congratulations, Melissa. You are clearly the perfect first recipient of the Courage Award. Thank you all for supporting Angel City Sports tonight for an evening of courage.
Well, Leah, thank you. I mean, your story is so beautiful. You're a wonderful, engaging host. Just thank you so much for your time. I know you're down in Chula Vista training camp of all places, trying to hack your night together. But just so grateful to you and everyone who helped rally people to attend tonight, from Ken to Charlie to Siamak to Amanda, Ronan, Miko, Tim, Danny, Seth, my beautiful wife, Bahar. I had so many people rallying the troops tonight. So just thank you all.
Yes, thank you all for your courage, and thank you for your support. Have a good night, everyone.
And listen, before anyone signs off, feel free to send us a message in the chat, or, find us later. We'd love to know if you want to get more involved, you want to volunteer. We've got the Angel City Games coming up December 18th and 19th. You can join our board or advisory council. There's a million ways you can support. And so we're always here for you. And once we get that facility open, we're going to need a lot of volunteers. So if you've got, teenagers that can come down on the weekends to help us run that facility, we're going to need help. And listen, before we sign off, we've got one more song from our friend Scotty Hasting. We're going to leave you with the full band version of the song, The Stories That They Tell, and it is currently available on Spotify and all the major music platforms. So again, on behalf of our whole team at Angel City, from the board to the advisory committee to the staff to all the wonderful volunteers that help us do what we do every day, thank you all for your support tonight. It means the world to us and will set us up for an amazing 2022. So just keep an eye out. We're coming for it. Good night, everyone.
Yes. Good night.
Friday night down at the Legion Bar, Bill opened up a box of old cigars. Said on this day back in '69, I lost a best friend of mine. Connor said that's the place I've been, but it was 2010 Afghanistan. He raised his glass, said here's to friends and their ultimate sacrifice. Yeah, the times and places, they may change, but one thing stays the same. The stories that they tell about going through hell. If you think they wouldn't do it all over again, well, you just don't know them. The memories that they own of the ones who didn't make it home, yeah, they sure do miss them, but they keep them all living in the stories that they tell. Bartender says next round for me, I spent some time overseas. Tonight's my first night behind this bar. Bill handed him a cigar. Well, the faces and the pictures, they may change, but one thing stays the same. The stories that they tell about going through hell. If you think they wouldn't do it all over again, well, you just don't know them. The memories that they own of the ones who didn't make it home, yeah, sure do miss them, but they keep them all living in the stories that they tell. Yeah, some will laugh and some will cry. Sometimes they'll wonder why. And I've been there, so I wrote this song. I know the need to carry on. The stories that they tell about going through hell. If you think they wouldn't do it all over again, well, you just don't know them. The memories that they own are the ones who didn't make it home. Yeah, they sure do miss them, but they keep them all living in the stories that they tell. We sure do miss them, but we keep them all living in the stories that we tell.